Hey there, today's video is going to be about the one-time costs that you have to pay when you're buying a new home. I recently just purchased my very first home, and I found that there's a huge amount of fees that you don't necessarily think about at the beginning when you're setting out to buy a property. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the total amount of closing costs that I had to pay, including an itemized list of what each of those things are. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I live in Ontario, Canada, and some of these fees might be only relevant here, like the specifics of the land transfer tax and potentially some of the property taxes, etc. These are definitely going to be different depending on where you live. But this is going to give you a pretty good idea of the one-time upfront costs to buy a home. So what I'm going to start with is, like I said, the land transfer tax. And in Canada, in Ontario, if you're a first-time home buyer, you get a rebate of $4,000 on this tax. So our total amount was actually $6,875, but we got $4,000 back from that, so we had to pay $2,875. Then we also had to pay a prorated amount of the property tax and condo fees, because the person that we were purchasing our condo from had already prepaid property taxes for the year and had prepaid condo fees for the month that we moved. So they added up both of those amounts, and then we paid that person back for what she had put up front on those. So here I'm going to put prorated property tax and condo fees. And if you're buying a house, a freehold home, you won't have those condo fees, but you'll probably have to pay a prorated amount of what they've already paid in property tax, unless you're purchasing literally on the day that it turns over for the next year and the property tax bill becomes due. But I think that's literally never going to happen. And so in our case, we paid $2,042.26 for that. And that was something that I didn't expect when I went into this. That was a little bit of a surprise. Okay, legal fees. Now, included in that is not just the time of the lawyer that's going over the documents and making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. There's a lot of other disbursements that they call it that you have to pay for. And so I'm going to fast forward until I have the whole list of legal fees here, because it's going to take way too long for me to type it out. So these are all of the disbursements that we were responsible for paying when it came time to close on this property. And as you can see, it's a lot. It really adds up. And there's tons of little things in there that you wouldn't have expected. They charge you for practically everything. I did try to push back on some of this stuff, but I was basically told that it's mandatory. You know, I had to pay $50 so that they would hold on to the file for 7 years, or however long they're responsible for keeping it. You have to pay for, title search, $450. That's where they make sure that no one else has a claim, a valid legal claim to the property that you're buying. And yeah, all of these things, it really adds up, like I said. And then, of course, there's the legal fee, the time of the lawyer as well. And in our case, that was $975 times 1.13 for the sales tax. And then our total one-time costs are already up to almost $7,500. One additional fee we did have to pay was a closing fee to the bank that provided our mortgage, and that closing fee was $332.92. So our total one-time cost to purchase this new home totaled almost $7,800, and that's not even accounting for moving costs like hiring a U-Haul truck, if you purchase new furniture, or if you paint your home when you move. These are just all of the things that are pretty much mandatory. There's nothing really on here that you can get out of paying for. Well, hopefully this video was interesting and informative for you. Like I said, there's a lot of one-time sunk costs that you have to pay when you're purchasing a home that you don't necessarily think about when you're starting out. You usually just think that you have to come up with the amount of the down payment, but there's a lot of other things that you have to account for, and so it's better to be aware before you start. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.